All right, how about now to some college football coaching and South Florida beginning to start their new era under Charlie Strong. What did you think about the hire? I know you were all over it in terms of the introductory press conference being set for this week on Twitter.
Yeah, look, I think it is the best hire they could have made. Charlie Strong was the best coaching candidate on the market right now. And, big ups to Mark Harlan, the South Florida athletic director, who targeted Charlie literally hours after Willie Taggart left to Oregon. When they found out he was going, Mark Harlan jumped on the phone and called Strong, tried to get his representatives down here, tried to get him down here for an interview. So kudos to him for targeting the guy he wanted and landing him. I think, look, if there's any place for Charlie Strong to turn his coaching career around, I think it's at USF right now. He could be here for 2 years, guys, and jump to another program, because next year they've got upwards of 17 starters returning to a team that won 10 games and is going for its 11th win in the Birmingham Bowl, including Quentin Flowers, their star quarterback, who is sensational this year, threw for 2,000 yards, rushed for 1,000 yards. Marlon Mack, their running back, deciding whether or not to go in the NFL draft. But with the deep class of running backs this year, I can't see why he wouldn't come back to school. So you return that, a majority of your offensive line, some studs at receiver. Charlie Strong is going to have a lot to work with. And I think it wouldn't surprise me, guys, year one, if he wins 11 games out of the gate at USF.
Wow. Who's coaching this team in the bowl game?
They got a really weak non-conference schedule, too, guys. Really weak non-conference schedule.
Okay.
So a lot of winnable games next year.
Who's coaching the team in the bowl game?
It's going to be T.J. Weist, who's the offensive coordinator under Willie Taggart, so he's going to take over for the bowl game. But, look, Charlie Strong is going to be there for some bowl practices. He's obviously recruiting right now. He's already reached out to some of USF's current commits and is trying to do some work of his own. He's putting a staff together. So, he'll be there for bowl practices, but T.J. Weist, who's the offensive coordinator under Taggart, will coach the team in the Birmingham Bowl against South Carolina.
Well, speaking of recruiting, how intense is that going to be in Florida, an already intense recruiting battleground, now that you add Charlie Strong at USF and Lane Kiffin at Florida Atlantic to the mix?
Yeah, it's going to be, guys, I might just hang out at a couple high schools just to watch some of these guys, walk through the door and see the epic recruiting. I mean, and not only that, some of these assistants, these guys have. Coach McElwain with Chris Rumpf and Randy Shannon, you don't mention those guys with some of the head coaches, and, Jimbo Fisher with Tim Brewster. I mean, there are some ace recruiters that are in the state of Florida right now. And I think it goes to show you guys, there's just so much talent everywhere to go around. And, Florida State, Miami still going to recruit to the level that they do. But, to have a guy like Charlie Strong, who built a pipeline from South Florida to Louisville, I don't think it's going to be hard to convince some kids to go 4 hours away, let alone they were going 10 hours away to Louisville. So Strong, it was an excellent hire recruiting-wise. And then, people forget about Scott Frost in Orlando and what he did with UCF this year. I mean, he took a winless team to, a bowl game at 6-6 with a chance to win their 7th game of the season with a lot of the same talent that he had last year. Now, he played a lot of true freshmen, including his quarterback, Mackenzie Milton, and Juwan Hamilton, some guys at running back, and, Adrian Killings. But, his ability to recruit in such a short time frame at UCF turned that program around. So, guys, it's going to be fun to watch, man. Which coaches get the better recruiting classes. God, staking out at some high schools maybe to see these guys come through. That should be fun.
By the way, Ryan, if you would have told me that the University of Oregon was going to get its next coach from a school in Florida, I would have said automatically, that must be Scott Frost at UCF. So what happened? Why didn't he go there, or did Oregon not want him?
Well, Oregon definitely did their due diligence, and I think, one, I think that's twofold, okay? Oregon hadn't hired a coach outside of the program since 1977, guys. They had promoted from within for every single coach from there on out. So I think they just wanted a culture change. Now, Scott Frost coming in would have been more of the same from the Chip Kelly and Mark Helfrich type era, obviously, because he coached none of those guys. Frost has a great relationship with everybody at Oregon, but he had said, look, I came to UCF to turn this program around. We have some goals. This isn't where I want the program to be right now. So he is dedicated to this program. He also said something, how do you walk into, parents' living rooms and say, I'm going to be here, and then weeks later leave? So, he wants to hold to what he said, and he's a man of his word. So I think that's the reason why, he wanted to stay at UCF. But look, I've spent time with Willie Taggart. I've watched what Taggart did at South Florida. He wasn't the first choice for Oregon, obviously. Matt Rule was the guy that they wanted, but Taggart is going to go in there. He's going to prove a lot of people wrong. The guy can coach. He can recruit. He's going to build a pipeline to Florida. I think he was a fantastic hire for Oregon, and I think come year 2, year 3, you're going to see just how good of a coach Willie Taggart is.